Jen Litteral is here to present Pivoting Your Business During a Pandemic. First, let me introduce her. Jennifer Litteral is president of Coffee Hound Coffee Co. Their business is headquartered in Brewer, Maine. They have over 21 years of combined experience in coffee and have personally served over 1 million customers. Jennifer is a WBENC Woman Certified Business, a member of BNI in the Bangor chapter, a participant in the 2020 Maine Center of Entrepreneurs Top Gun program, and the winner of Maine's 2020 Big Gig Entrepreneur Pitching Contest. Please help me in welcoming Jennifer Litteral.
Thank you. I just want to say I'm thrilled to kick off the Academy tonight. This is like a huge privilege. Thank you so much for having me. And so here's a great tool, which is a SWOT analysis. And I don't know if your heads are in the middle of this, sorry if they are, but the SWOT analysis takes you through to figure out what your opportunities are. It looks at your strengths, and you might need to go back to what your strengths are. You know what your strengths are currently. Do those need to change? Do you have other strengths that you haven't had to use yet? Are there weaknesses that you don't have that maybe you can learn now? You know, and I've had to go through a lot of learning and a lot of education over the last 7 months to get to, you know, where we brought things through in just these, 7 months. And then you can see the opportunities in there and how are they going to be either positively impacting you, which ones are available, and then the threats. Do you have the financial ability to do those opportunities? And what are the trends that may be negatively impacting you? Like for us, it was the cafes closing. So that was our negative one. And our opportunity was people are drinking coffee at home. Our threat was, can we financially handle to carry all of these fledgling places through without an umbrella of a company that or portion of the company that brought in all the revenue? So then after the SWOT analysis, if you still are like, okay, I don't know how to make a decision out of this, this is a simple decision platform for how you go there. You look at, first thing you need to really do is go back to your mission, your values. And if you don't have those, you should start thinking about them because they are important, and they are important to the vision of what your company is and why the people work for you, and having them be bought into it as well. Defining the problem, and who do you have to contend with to move to the next step? What are the responses if it's this or that? What are the benefits, the cost benefit, the pros, the cons? Go through, how is this going to affect us internally with our company and our employees that are doing this certain job and now they need to do this certain job? How's this going to affect our customers? Talk to your customers or your vendors or your clients. What do they need right now? You might be surprised to hear what they need, or maybe they just need to hear from you and that's enough, and then they feel good about it. And then work on a solution and implement it, but then reevaluate how it's working for you. So this is the exercise that we went through to take time to go through our mission and our core values. And I did this with our team. So earlier in the summer when I'm working on the website and we're recreating all this stuff, and we had an old mission that didn't fit because it was about meeting one-on-one with people and, having that connection with people and stuff. So we talk about, well, we have experience. We have served 1 million customers, but we're bringing that level of what we used to give you in a cafe to your home all over the nation because we can ship anywhere. So you got to really think about what you were doing is going to, implement for how you are doing things now. We talk about being veteran founded and certified woman owned because it's an important thing. The biggest part of this is Maine. Don't not use Maine. It's so important. Like I said, it is the best brand you have. We are a Maine made brand, but we really talk about having that Maine craftsmanship and that trust and creating an extraordinary coffee experience for people. And then your vision and your mission and your values, what do they take to the next level? Because your customers care about that. What are you doing for your employees or your partners? Or like I talked to you about how we go the next level on our partner organizations and what we do for them, advertising for them and helping them out, as well as, what we do for our employees. Don't short your employees at this time. Any little things that you can do to help make their lives a little bit better, do them. Go above and beyond. However, it doesn't have to be money wise or different kinds of things like that. Little things go a long way. And so does praise and talking to people and connecting with them where they are. And I swear to God, Machias did not pay me to say this next section is Get out your numbers, know your financials. I cannot stress this enough. And as a business owner, I like doing the fun, splashy stuff. I like talking like this. I love being part of the coffee stuff. I like being in the cafe. I like, that is where I want to be. I don't like the numbers. I didn't want to do the numbers. And I in the middle of all of this, they introduced me, Amanda said that I was in the Top Gun program. I had a financial mentor that I was working with at the time, and he was helping me go through and set up our books because we were moving from retail to manufacturing. So we had to move all of our books into cost accounting. And so I learned this summer that we as entrepreneurs and business owners, we like to hire things that we know really well. You like to hire people that are like really good at this job and really good at that job because you know what the job is and you know how to do it really well. What you don't like to hire for are things you're not very good at. I wasn't very good at bookkeeping. I could do it, but I wasn't great at it. And I never hired a bookkeeper until this year. In the middle of COVID, I hired a bookkeeper because it was so critical. And my mentor helped me painfully at times, helped me learn to understand all of the numbers and all of the sheets and how to make projections and all of that. And I have all that now. And now I get the numbers from our bookkeeper. We have our meetings and we can now strategize about how to set goals. You can't set goals and go to the next step if you have no clue where you're at or where you want to be at. When you get into goal setting, this is another piece that I took straight into our staff meetings, our weekly staff meetings. We started going through our financials. Okay, here's where we're at. Here's where we'd like to be in December. Let's start setting some goals. Don't just say, we want this. This is a great SMART goal, and they have the other ones that are called smarter goals that have extra steps on this one, but it wouldn't fit on the template here. So anyway, be specific, and I'm going to walk through it with you on one I did. So have a clear goal. So our first one that we created was we wanted to be in 100 grocery stores by December, right? That's specific, 100 grocery stores. It's measurable. We have 100. Well, if we didn't hit 100, then we know we measured it, right? Have it actionable. How do you get to 100 grocery stores? What are you going to do that? And that was when we implemented starting to call other locations through our distributor. How do we get into the Hannaford's program? Going through all the steps with that. Be realistic. Is it a realistic goal? Well, we're at 70. We're 70 something right now, and we're trying to get to 100. So I feel like it was a reasonable number. We were in probably the 20s or 30s at the time. And then have it time bound. When is the deadline for it? So ours is December. So work through goals that way, but you really need to have all of those other pieces put together to know what your goals are and what you want to deliver. We went back to this once we launched our website for how many users do we want to be using our website, not subscribers, because we have subscribers or single users. We wanted to go from 40 to 80. That's not a huge amount, but it's a big number of people using it. So I felt like that was a realistic number, and we went through it again for building clients and how we're doing our marketing and all of that kind of stuff. Emotional intelligence. This is not something I really hit on a lot in my business career or previously. I kind of knew some of this stuff. I've learned recently that statistics for successful businesses is that literally like 75 to 80% of really successful business people have very high emotional intelligence. And how that works down into is a self-awareness and self-management and social awareness and all of these different pieces. But I really just wanted to hone in on one here, which is empathy. And this is more critical than ever for having this as a skill set. So I'm a very direct person. I like cut and dry. Don't give me the long-winded story. I want just the numbers. I want in, I want out. I'll start an email to somebody and I have to go back and say, good morning, or hope you're well. I'm terrible at that. This is my downfall. So I've learned this about myself, and I'm trying to learn to be more empathetic. And not that I don't have empathy. It's not something when I'm stuck in the middle of a busy business day, I don't think about it. And don't stop here with your empathy for your customers, for your vendors, and also your employees. This is critical. So I worked through this in a class, and I got through the class and I'm like, I kind of wonder where our employees are at with this. So here we made massive amounts of major changes, right? We've changed so many things in literally 7 months. In my head, I'm like, okay, here's the thing. We're doing this. We're moving on. Here we are. So this is how this works. It's called Storm and Norman. If nobody's heard it, some of you probably have interacted with it before. But anyway, so you start out with something and you come into the storming phase when something is new and you're like, I don't know how to deal with it. And who's in charge of this, what's happening, you know, how I can't do this, I'm screwing it up, am I making the right decisions? And then you start to get a little bit comfortable with it, and then you start performing. Everybody in your company is going through different phases of this at different times all the time. And what's more critical now than ever is figuring out where they're at and what interactions you're having with your employees. And so I took this through an exercise at a staff meeting. Again, I pulled it out. I'm like, hey, I just went through this, and I'm going to tell you, I think we're between norming and just into performing. And one of the other people was like, well, I feel like we're in I'm just coming out of storming and going into norming. And I was like, yep, that explains so much. Like, you know, having like this, you know, what is the process? What is my job going to be? How am I doing this? Not feeling comfortable with it's all new material and all that kind of stuff. So this is a really critical touchstone to, like, again, that empathy touching stone with your employees, or, you know, your team, your staff, your whatever it is, your coworkers, and understanding, you know, we're storming in everyday life already, and it cannot not bleed into your work life as well. Lastly, I want to leave you with marketing, which brings us into a perfect for the next person, the next session, speakers night. We hired an intern this summer from University of Maine, from the marketing department, a marketing major, who came in to do a whole new marketing plan for us. We kind of had a marketing plan before, but nothing as formal, and we needed one because so many things were so different. And marketing is very different. So whatever you did before, everything is very different, and you're going to learn all this. And I just really want to leave with this. Again, I didn't get paid by Machias to say this. It's so critical to have a marketing plan and be able to implement it in all of these different facets, and think about how you're going to implement it into all these facets. There are so many opportunities, even in the marketing world, that are so easy to get into now and are pretty cheap, if not free, a lot of them, and understanding how to use them. So, but you have to have that roadmap. And I, worked for 3 months with a marketing intern. I probably could have done a marketing plan on my own, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have. So having the intern there or taking this class, it forces you to go through it. And it's such an important, vital thing to really have the direction of what you're doing. So I hope that the tools that I gave you tonight and the case study was helpful for your journey through the next 8-9 weeks here. And I just want to say that you got this. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much. A round of applause for Jen.
Thank you for having me. Have a great journey on this, and congratulations to you all.
Thank you.